Hello, Internet. Clouded here with D3SG Fate and Deadly Void. And today we're going to talk to you about patch 1.04, the incoming changes that you should look forward to in Diablo 3. Alright, so to start us off, they are making 1.0. Did I say 1.03? I meant 1.04. They're making 1.04 much more co-op friendly. What do you guys think of that? And what are the changes?
So I think I am in favor certainly of making co-op more friendly because kind of in the current state of the game, it's really not worth it for, I would say, 95% of the players to ever really ally or party up other than for fun. And I mean, that's really the only scenario where I do it, and usually it actually slows me down in most cases. But what they're doing to improve this is they're basically scaling monster health by 75% every time someone enters the game in all 4 different difficulties. And previously this scaled up to 75, 85, 95, and 110% for normal, nightmare, hell, and inferno respectively. So it was kind of a pretty significant drawback to actually doing those difficulties. And they'd scaled back monster damage in inferno already, and this takes it one step further. And for the most part, I'm pretty okay with this change. And so Deadly Void's going to quickly talk about the Magic Find and Gold Find changes they've been making.
Okay, as for the Magic Find changes, the way that a lot of Magic Finding groups have worked is they say, okay, if you want to be a part of the group, you have to have 200 or more % Magic Find. Now it's really up to you individually to want to be able to do it, and it's more on your item's ability to scale for the content. And if you want the Magic Find, you can add the Magic Find. But overall, I think that it's great that they individualize the stats as well as giving it a lot more benefits to partying. So you can have the Magic Find built in if you want, or if you can just do the content with a group, it's just a lot more easier. So having it very friendly for the party, I think, is a great thing that they go on the side of.
Right, now I can Magic Find, and I still might actually want to play with my friends. I won't just Magic Find alone in my cave. Right, next on the oh, right, okay, so they're shrinking the gap. Right, so normal monsters are, yeah, I can read quite well actually. I passed the second grade test. Yeah, awesome. I know adjectives. One of the things that they're changing is they're going to make normal monsters and elite monsters a little bit closer in terms of health and difficulty. Stop. Well, we should just redo that one, shrinking the gap. Sorry, I kind of got distracted.
Not much.
I just got off topic. All right, sorry, but I can just say,
From here.
yeah.
They're coming back in 10-15 minutes to fix the refrigerator.
Oh shit, this one?
Yeah.
All right, we got 10 minutes.
All right,
that's all we got.
So, sorry about that, guys. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty. The refrigerator guy came and he wanted to fix our refrigerator, in case you were wondering. But if you weren't, we'll get right back on topic. All right, so they're going to be shrinking the gap. That just means normal monsters are going to be a little bit harder, and they're going to drop a little bit better loot, and they're going to tone down the health of the champion packs. What do you guys think of this? Do you think it's how's it gonna impact players like the casual gamer and the elite gamer?
So I am definitely in favor of increasing the difficulty of white mobs, and I think I agree with them that there kind of is a certain spikiness in champion packs, and I think you could even point to this being a reason why the DH is much better as opposed to a more crowd control based hero like the Witch Doctor. So I am in favor of reducing that gap, and I think it should mainly be accomplished in increasing the difficulty of normal mobs. I have very mixed feelings on increasing the health of champions and rares. I know this would certainly appeal to most casual gamers, more so than myself, but I personally think it waters down the content of Inferno a little bit too much for me.
I think in terms of the casual gamer, it won't change how they do the content, but it'll change how easy the content is, because most players will just go through, kill the right monsters, kill the elites. But for those elite players that understand farming efficiency, they'll just farm elites. So I don't think for either of them that'll really change anything. It'll just make it a little bit more beneficial and easier to do. So that's mostly what I see out of the shrinking the gap portion of this change.
Right, and I mean, the thing that I noticed is they're getting rid of invulnerable monster or invulnerable minion affix. That's pretty sweet. Woo! I hated them. All right, next is the weapons master. What, you guys didn't? You guys liked invulnerable minion? Yeah, well, where's my laugh track? Cue laugh track. You're gonna edit that in, right, James? Right, Fate. So next is weapons, right? They're going to change weapons a little bit. They're going to make item level. Well, what are they going to do, Faye? How about you give us the lowdown on this?
All right, so basically what happens right now in the current state of weapons is that really anything that's eye level 63, it has to be worth anything. There's a small percentage of eye level 62 items that can be worth something, but really it needs to get like the strongest rolls possible. So what they've done is they've basically increased the rolls that you can get on eye level 61 and 62 items. And this just basically improves the general quality of items that are going to be dropped. And Deadly Void always quotes this statistic that 50% of items are basically useless in Act 2 because they are mainly weapons and you're just rolling eye level 61 and 62 primarily. And so this really helps to kind of rectify that. And kind of a side effect that I would start to explain is that kind of what's going to happen is the market price of these kind of like mid-level items will probably drop a little bit. So I would definitely hold off on buying kind of a mid-level item.
And also there's something that hasn't really been talked about that I think is just as important as the viability of two-handed weapons. As a monk player, there are actually a few skills that you can either use a two-hander or use two one-handers. And what it does is it really diversifies the types of builds available. And you can see from the changes that we'll go over a little later on that they're allowing a lot more things to be viable. And I think it's a great thing for the players. It's a great thing for the game. So I am very, very positive on this portion of the change.
Right, yeah, more two-handers will be available. So my two-handed Daibo with crit damage and a socket might actually be worth something now. Yeah. If you don't know what a Daibo is, it's because nobody uses it. It's the two-handed monk weapon. It should have been a trivia question or something. Diablo, what's that called in the bars where you go and you get trivia, Diablo trivia.
Wow.
Yeah. Laugh track cue. All right.
Number 2.
So what are some of the other things that they're changing is the difference between efficiency and challenge. So this is Blizzard's sort of like philosophy behind the end game, I guess you could say. And they are going to basically change some of the things that they implemented to stop a lot of the I want to say just like it's not cheating. What would you say that? How would you say that? Somebody like the people who would just ledge in Act 3. They would just it's basically just like the tactics that were cheese tactics.
Yes.
That's what I was looking for. So they had enrage timers and the heal back to full for these cheese people who are using cheese tactics to try and kill elites, and they're basically just removing that. I think it just makes it easier for the casual gamer, and that's kind of who they're generally catering to within this patch, I would say. Do you guys have any thoughts on that, or?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of great things that they're doing with the game in terms of smoothing out the content and making it more fun. I think that's one of the best philosophies they can have is making the game more fun, even at the expense of maybe certain aspects of it, like the gear walls that in the very beginning of the game that you'd hit. They really smooth it out to make it where you can either choose to farm very efficiently Act 1 Maybe farm Act 2 okay, and if you wanted to Act 3, you'd really struggle. But they're giving you that options, and I think that options, in addition to a lot of the builds, is a very good way for them to make the game more fun, and I'm all for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I don't have super strong opinions on the enrage timers or the heal back, but I thought they were some of the most annoying things and frustrating moments of Diablo 3 was to kind of lower a elite mob down to 1 or 2% of its health, only to suffer a death and have to run back to the mob to discover that it's been fully healed back.
Yeah, that sucks. Good thing that's never ever happened to me. I just slay all the mobs that come towards me. Even the invuln minions, I kill them too.
That's because you play DH.
Play a barb too. Whatever. Anyway, so one of the next changes that they're making is legendary items are actually going to be legendary now. Go figure. Woo! Yeah. Cue happy crowd cheer. Basically what I think this means is that legendaries are going to get higher rolls in general on stuff, or definitely much more unique type stats that will make them actually be legendary. Think of like a D2 item, for instance, like the Enigma. It was a rune word. It's a legendary item. When you get it, you can get teleport as any class. I mean, they might add some things like that. Who knows? I'm actually really excited for that. That's probably one of the things that will keep people playing more. Did you guys have thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Or no? I mean,
Well, I think that legendariness doesn't have to only be in the stats itself. It can be in how it looks. I think the skin of the item is very important in how some people, the aesthetics of it is important in how they want to play the game. And as you can see in a lot of different games, even a lot of the Xbox games, you can now pay for skins that work for you across games. And one of my friends is more than happy to pay that to see that his character can have a follower. So, I mean, things like that in terms of legendariness, it doesn't have to always be the stat mods on it itself, but the stat mods do help, of course.
right. What if I had a legendary item that made my avatar Diablo? That'd be pretty dope.
That'd be sick.
I would totally get that. All right. So finally, the last thing that we're going to talk about is the class improvements or the class changes. Now, right now, we don't know too much about them, but we do know that Blizzard is basically going to be looking at all those underused skills and underused runes and asking why aren't people using this? And based on that, they're going to make some changes. What are your thoughts, Fate?
Well, I think their overall goal here is simply to promote build diversity, and I think that's a really, really good thing. People have complained of a lack of builds, and while there are a few builds viable to every class, there's certainly a lot of runes and skills that are pretty much unused. And I think buffing some of those, we'll get to see a lot more possibilities. And of course, as a side effect, I'd imagine some of those skills do become a little bit too strong. But Blizzard has been pretty quick on the nerf trigger in the past to prevent anything super overpowered from lasting too long, other than maybe the Demon Hunter. But that's another topic. So, all right, so I'm going to pass the mic over to Deadly Void for his thoughts.
I think it's, again, I agree, it's a very good thing for build diversity. And the fact of the matter is that the elite players will min-max everything, so they will find optimized builds, but it may not be fun in the eyes of a number of different players. And as I've said earlier, fun is the reason we play this game, and by allowing different ways to derive that fun, maybe you are a witch doctor and you really like to play it like a necromancer, but you just can't. I mean, it offers a lot of different variations of builds of different types to suit a lot more people to play. And as the build diversity increases, as the player base increases, it means that we have a stronger community, and as we have a stronger community, the game gets better.
Right. So that means that summoning builds for the Witch Doctor might actually be viable. Yeah, buddy. I'm excited about that. I think that was it. That was all our major points that we wanted to cover. We'll let you know more as we know it. Oh, right. One major question you might have is, so when does this patch come out? And right now, Blizzard says it's targeted for the 4th week of August. What that really means is probably going to be the first week or two of September. Let's get real. Blizzard never really delivers on time, but that's just what makes them Blizzard, you know? So, given that, I think that we covered everything. Do you guys want to sign out? Do you guys have a catchphrase or something? You don't have to have a catchphrase. You can just say later or something.
No catchphrase, but this is Fate from Diablo3StrategyGuide.com, and thanks for listening, guys.
Same here. Thanks for joining us, and hope you found this useful as well as any of the other things that you've read or seen about us.
Right, yeah. So you can always hit up our guide at www.diablo3strategyguide.com for more updates. And, yeah, peace out.